Greetings guys, today I'm going to do a quick introduction on slope-intercept form. This form is usually dealing with linear relationships expressed in the form of y equals mx and b. We're going to break each of the different components that you see so you can get a better understanding of how the equation works. The first part you see is your y value, which is basically your output. This is a dependent value, meaning that whatever happens right here in this part of the equation, you'll get a unique solution. So basically, in layman's terms, the y is the answer that you will get whenever you solve this part of the equation. Then we move on to the next one, which is your x value, which is your input. X is basically any real number you can think of that you can substitute into the equation, solve this part right here, and get a unique answer for whatever value you substituted for. The next component you will see is your slope, which is your m. Slope is basically the steepness of the line. So whenever you graph this type of equation into a coordinate plane, you'll be able to tell the steepness of the line based on the slope, which is also called your rate of change. Another very important component of the equation is your b, which is basically called your y-intercept. This is where your linear line will cross the y-axis, hence where it gets its name from. Another component a lot of students ignore is the part that the plus symbol plays into the equation. If you paid attention to the way I read it at the beginning, I did not call it plus. We read it as y equals mx and b. The main misconception is that when they think of the plus symbol, students tend to think that the y-intercept will always be positive. A linear line may cross either above the origin, which will make its value positive, or below the origin, which will make it negative. Another really important part of the equation is understanding how to identify your slope and your y-intercept, which is really easy. Here are some other examples of equations that are written in slope-intercept form. This is the key to finding your m value and your b value. Again, the key to finding your slope and the y-intercept. If you look at the form, your slope is very simple to identify because it's always going to be the number in front of your x. So if I look at this equation right here that reads y equals negative 3x and 5, I can immediately find my slope because it's going to always be the number in front of x. So in this equation, my slope is a negative 3. My starting point is usually the constant that's on the same side of the slope. So the only other value that we see within the equation that's within the constant form is the number 5. And what kind of 5 is it? Positive. If we look at the next equation, we have y equals negative 7 plus 2x. It's still written in the form y equals mx and b. However, you notice that the y-intercept and the slope and the input have been switched, but it's still in the same form, which is another way they may try to go ahead and see if you can identify the components. So in this equation, my slope is always a number in front of x, again, which is the 2. And your y-intercept is the constant on the same side, which is a negative 7.